welcome to hello and welcome to Moving Mountains for You. My name is Ice Slut Celadon. I go by Sachy Ice Queen on a lot of social medias. Today we have such a amazing guest. He not only is a really awesome DJ, podcaster, and um, does a lot really for Conway and all of Arkansas. So we're just gonna be able to talk to him and get to hear his voice and just hear his heart as well. And without further ado, this is Keys Dan, the Keys Dan. And so Dan, tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit of what you love to do.
Well, Sachy Ice Queen, before you said my name, the moniker that I go by, I was wondering who is this incredible guest that you have coming on here. I'd like to meet a DJ, a podcaster, a broadcaster, an all-around cool guy, somebody of the community that takes care of people. When you take care of yourself, you try to take care of other people as well. You have to give back to the community. I know when you're young, and maybe I'm speaking for myself, when you're young and you're trying to make it in the world, you may not help as many people as you could on your way up. You don't hurt anybody, you don't step on anybody on the way up, but you don't help anybody as much as you can. But I do remember, the first time that I did get involved in the community, and I know towards the end of middle school and high school, they start to try to teach you how to become a better person involved in the community. So if you could find like for example, my first outing was the Special Olympics, helping hugging. I was a hugger for the Special Olympics, and this is down in Miami, Florida. And I remember the Hurricanes, the University of Miami, their football team were also huggers. So I was kind of excited to be involved in the Special Olympics, and also excited to meet the football players of the University of Miami. But I haven't said anything about myself, really. I've only just started rambling on, which is what I end up doing. My mind starts to go off in different directions, and I'm not used to being interviewed. I'm used to being on the other side of the interview panel. I'm the guy behind the desk, the greats, the Johnny Carson, the David Letterman, the Conan O'Brien, those kind of guys. I try to emulate.
I think it's all right though, because like I always tell every single one of my guests, the more words that you say, the better, because I'm part of Learning Idiom. I'm part of Zeladon Help as well. And Learning Idiom is a virtual vocational academy where we teach English and Spanish. We also teach arts. We teach dancing and how to write poetry. We also even have a class on if you want to learn how to decorate a glass bottle. And that's taught by my mom because she does that. And so the poetry is done by me. Everybody on my team, they're amazing moms. We are not only a minority owned nonprofit, but we're also all women and we're all moms. And we just want to share our culture. We want to share our language, and we want to teach you. And so that's all of these episodes is what we just want our students to capture. Try to capture every single word. And you definitely are a man of many words, and so I'm I'm certain that they're gonna have a lot of questions after this one.
Well, Sassy Ice Queen, I'm impressed mostly by your mother in that last sentence, in that last paragraph that you just gave me, because she's the one that creates things. I'm not one to create anything. All of my words go out into the ether, especially when I was a broadcaster on radio, on terrestrial radio, radial emisora radial. I think that's the Spanish version of that. But I spoke my words. They went out into the air, and then they were gone forever. It's only recently that I got into the medium of podcasting, where I record my words and then people can listen to them at their own leisure. And you're in the similar medium where you record your words. And if people want to listen to this and maybe they have a question about it, they can pause, ask a question. And then it's very interactive. even though it's recorded previously and it's not a call-in show like some of the things I used to do on the radio, where I would say, "Hey, call in and tell me something about your day." Well, you can't do that here, but they can at their own time, at their own pace, maybe 10 years from now, be trying to call you and say, "Hey, what was that Keys Dan all about?" I said, "I don't know. That was 10 years ago. What was it going on?" But I notice your background is very tutorial. It looks like a teacher's background. It looks like something that a teacher would have. Is teaching something that you've wanted to do your whole life, and here I am turning it around on you.
That's funny that you say that. I love teaching. So each one of my students that's listening, just know that you have a very dedicated teacher. I have been wanting to be a teacher all my life. When they asked me, what do you want to be when you grow up? I literally said teacher. And my mom kind of discouraged me from that because she's like, oh, they don't make a lot of money. But when you want to be a teacher or when you want to do something like, um, if it's destined or predestined to happen, it's going to happen somehow. So now I'm just a non-conventional type of teacher. I've never taught in an actual school. I've just taught in like preschools or, not like a university or a high school or a junior high or whatever. But because I don't have a teaching degree, I just have my certification to teach Spanish. And I have a bachelor's degree. So I have taught virtually with 5-1 Talk, and I've taught. So that's kind of I just I love teaching. It's really awesome. And so it's something that I guess is just one of those gifts. And so my first question for you is, if you could name a gift that you have, what would it be?
Name a gift that I have. Well, I would name it apple pie because I want to give you this apple pie. I name it I don't have a real creative mind, so I name it what the people have selectively have collectively asked this to be called. Like I give you the Xbox controller because it's called an Xbox controller. I have no my creative juices don't flow that way. It's nice to have ideas to bounce off of people, and I hate that I have to admit that. Huh? Maybe I've discovered that about myself. I'm not a creative person. I'm just a guy that likes to gain knowledge from other people.
Well, I mean, I think there's certain gifts that maybe people don't realize they have. I definitely think you have the gift of exhortation for sure. If you, for anybody that doesn't know what that is, that's
I'll admit it. Go ahead.
so
It's a
you
big
know.
word.
So whoever that doesn't know what that word is, exhortation is someone who kind of just encourages, someone who uplifts someone. And so maybe you didn't know that about yourself, but that is definitely a gift that is very, very relevant. I've met you in person finally one time. But I, ever since I've met you from the very beginning, you've just been very, very like upbeat, energetic, and so I think that's definitely a gift that you have. My next question is if life was a lesson, what would it be teaching you in one word? Everybody's a little different, so I always like to ask the hard questions, and it seems like that one, it takes a little bit of them for them to answer. But if life was a lesson.
Responsibility.
Oh, that's a whoa, responsibility, huh? And what do you think that just explain a little bit of why that's your response.
Well, I feel like I have to take responsibility for my actions, for what my impact on the planet is, to be more existential. But my responsibility, I think in that respect, when the planet, it belongs to all of us, but I cannot take care of the whole planet. I can only take care of my little portion. And I think there's a saying, and I may say it wrong: if everybody swept their own front porch, the whole world would be clean. So if we could take care of our communities, our own little areas, be a part of of being responsible for the area that we maintain, then it forms a community, and then those communities form cities and states and countries and beyond. But yeah, responsibility. Be responsible.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think, when they asked me the first time, because I think as your life kind of progresses, it kind of changes. Because I chose patience, because I've needed a lot of patience in my life. Being a mom of an autistic boy, even though he hasn't been diagnosed, he still has all of the tendencies. And so I just needed a lot of patience. And so it's something that, and plus I'm one of six, and so I was last for everything. Literally, my name is like Zeladon. It's literally, so I've graduated last. Like, I was just last for everything. And so I think patience was definitely something that was a predominant word in my life that I needed, and also that I just saw. I was like, yeah, I had to be patient. And so my next question for
No,
you is,
before you ask the next question, are
mhm,
you, I don't know if we went over this, are you the last of six?
yes, I'm the youngest.
Little baby of the family. Were you
I
babied the whole life?
I am the baby of the family. I just I learned a lot from my siblings, actually. What not to do, what to do, Yeah, I saw a lot of disobedience sometimes. And so my mom always tells me, oh yeah, I never had to worry about you being obedient. I was like, yeah, because I literally saw what you did to my parent, my siblings. So I'm like, I don't think I should do that, being a Latina, I'm sure we believe in corporal punishment for sure. So my mom definitely gave her spankings enough, for the kids. And so I, because I was the youngest, I did get spanked the less. Why, or the least? Why? Because I saw what caused that, and I did not do that. So
Very smart. Mostly, most of the parents that I know that have multiple children, by the time they get to that last child, they're over it. They're done. That last child doesn't get a lot of attention, so that last child may act up. So you could have gone either way. I know that my youngest brother, or well, I guess my only brother, but my young brother, he tried to get away with a lot of things, and he acted up quite a bit. But we all have our own peccadillos as we grow through life, trying to broaden our horizons and push our boundaries. But continue with the questioning.
yeah, I mean, awesome. Like, I think it's so that was going to be, another question of mine. Tell me about your family. How many, I want you to tell us and our listeners where your family's from. I already know, but I would love for them to hear your little accent if you want to.
Where's my family? Mahuano de la Guantanamera. No, I'm half Cuban, half Irish. Well, the both the Cuban side and the Irish side, I have roots like a radish. I cannot go back in history further than my grandparents, or yeah, I guess my great grandma on my Cuban side and my grandma on my Irish side, but no further than that. So I don't know if I came over on the Mayflower, or if I came over on a boat, or I swam over on a raft, or where my family really came from. I know that they ended up in the Florida Keys at first, and then moved up to, well, my grandma and grandpa were in the Florida Keys just after the war, maybe 1948, after World War II. And then they moved up to New York, where my mother was born in 48 or 49, and then moved down to Miami, where I was born in no, in 69. That's the 1900s to you kids. Yeah, but ever since then I've grown.
That's
Boy,
awesome. I
boy,
mean,
did that story just take a peter off once I got to me.
I mean, Miami's beautiful. I've been there twice. It's a beautiful city. The buildings are beautiful. I mean, I say that because I'm originally from California, and so I was literally 20 minutes from LA. So to me, buildings are beautiful. They're not like, I remember Arkansas Tech, the president, the ex-president of Arkansas Tech, Dr. Brown. they asked him why he wouldn't build up instead of, because he kept getting more land and building that, horizontally, but he wouldn't want to build up. And he just said, because it's ugly. And I'm like, what? That, I mean, to me, buildings were what I grew up with, and so um hearing that, I was like, huh, interesting, so I mean, but I love the lights, I love the city lights. um it's enjoyable to see and to walk, and like, I don't know, I guess probably because I was born around that, so I was, if it makes me feel a little bit home, like at home. But here in Arkansas there's not very many tall buildings and skyscrapers, but that's just little old Arkansas.
Talk
So
about differences of opinions. The Arkansas is known as the natural state, so maybe they
mhm.
do want to keep a skyline that's more natural rather than skyscrapers. You go to Little Rock, and there are some buildings that are over 5 stories tall, and I think that's the actual definition of a skyscraper, has to be more than 5 stories. Don't look it up. You take my quotes as fact, kids. All right, look it up. Look it up. No, but I think anything over 5 stories becomes a skyscraper, a high rise. But yeah, the natural state might have had a pushback on having, but then you're screwing the nature going
Well, yeah, I mean,
horizontally.
Arkansas is very touristic. Like everybody comes here because of nature, and so I think there might be some kind of laws that they put in place. Who knows? We would have to look it up. But there's definitely not a lot of buildings here, tall buildings here. And so I love living here. And so that's my last question. What is your favorite thing about living in Arkansas?
Well, moving from the Florida Keys, almost like pictured behind me, I moved from blue to green, and I like the people of Arkansas. It kind of slowed down when I was in Miami. It was really a hustle and bustle, and I'm sure getting into Los Angeles, which I've been to several times. Hustle and bustle, lots of traffic. People think that there's traffic. Oh, rush hour going to Little Rock. Yeah, I had to wait, half an hour. There's rush hour in LA at 2 in the morning. I remember leaving the airport at 2 in the morning, and we were stuck going into LA at 2 in the morning. So people don't know traffic here, but I do know that, it seems there's 58,000 people, give or take, here in Conway, Arkansas. And to me, that is still a small town, because I know in Miami there was 58,000 people in my building, in on my block, and I knew 3 of them, and they were all named Braulio, oh yeah, yeah. And
That's
I
funny.
heard, and there was chickens for some reason. But it's nice to be here in the country. And Arkansas has so much diversity. It's the only state, well, that has diamonds, which is kind of cool. People have reported that they've still found diamonds here in this state. Hot Springs has hot springs. It's kind of cool. You go there, and there's a fountain that's blowing out hot springs. Geologically, is it stable? I don't know. I'm not a geologist. It could be a volcano underneath there about to explode. Don't look it up, kids. Take my words as fact. All right, look it up. Look it up.
No, but I mean, that's awesome. I love living here. I think because I'm a poet, I draw inspiration from the outdoors. I draw inspiration from, just nature. And so I think that's awesome that, I love diamonds too. I mean, what girl does not love diamonds? And if they say they don't, they're lying. Come on, really? So, but that's, I think it's, my husband actually went with my mom to go mine for diamonds. They didn't find anything. They found like some good rocks, and that's about it.
Are
um,
there other rocks besides the diamonds that they can find when are they like sparkly things? Have you collected anything?
Yeah, like so the time that they went, they did get, some kind of shiny quartz or something. It wasn't a diamond though. And so but yeah, you can go mine for diamonds here, which, me from California, you over there, we would, go mine for gold over there in California, because I remember going on a it was like a field trip, and we went to go look for golds, and it was pretty cool to to experience that, and then also the diamonds over here. So I was like, oh, cool. But
Do you remember where you panned for gold? Is there a spot? Is it touristy?
so there is a spot. I can't remember exactly where because it was literally when I was like maybe fourth or third grade. But there is a place there. As far as I know, I'm pretty sure in Knott's Berry Farm, there's also a place that you can mine for gold there. Like one specific part of the theme park is just for mining for gold.
Oh,
Um,
digging for gold. There's gold up in the hills.
yeah, I mean there's a lot. So yeah, but any shout outs you want to give or anything that you want, any last remarks for our listeners and viewers, since this is going to be on my YouTube channel?
Oh, I don't want this to be over yet. I want to talk to you for days and days, Sachy Ice Queen. I won't say your real name.
No, I mean I always go by Sachi Ice Cream just because I always say it's my stage name, I think it's always cool to have a stage name, but I mean my real name is Isla Celadon, and I don't really care if you say it because they would never be able to figure out how to spell it. So
No,
just
but
say
it's
it.
I think that's the wave right now, and I do want to pick your brain a bit. That you have to brand something. Here, I moved from the Florida Keys to Arkansas, and yes, I could have changed my name to Arkansas Dan, and I do own DJLittleRock.com. Shameless plug, But and people say, oh. KeysDan.com. How do you spell that? Is it KEZKE? It's hard sometimes. So you do have to have a brand. But do you feel that, like, as people grow up, as children grow up into adulthood, that they have to brand themselves in a certain kind of way, or can they become part of the machine and go become a number like most of the people of our four times?
I think it depends on the person, and I think it depends on your profession. Because if you're going into a field where you have a lot of publicity and you're a public figure, then I always use my stage name and I always use other things because I feel like it's not that I'm a different person when I'm performing or when I'm speaking. It's that it kind of solidifies who I am because that's who I've worked to become. And so whenever they say, okay, Sachi Ice Queen is next, so it kind of hypes me up more, and also just kind of um lets me not be myself but be my like ultra ego, is how they say, or whatever. So I think it depends on your profession. If you want to do, if you want to be an artist, definitely have, most artists sometimes they change their names. And so I think it definitely depends on your profession. If you're going to be a doctor, I mean, you don't really have to, but because you're not going to be a public figure, you're just gonna, you're gonna be known if you have a lawsuit or something. And but I'm just saying, like, doctors could be known for good things, but they could be known for bad things. And then if a doctor is famous, then it's probably not good.
You
Just
dealing with a
saying.
lot of doctors, are you? Very litigious, are you? Oh my
So I
goodness! I
mean,
hope nothing bad happened.
I think it depends on you. It depends if you want to be known as something. If you don't want to be known as anything, you just want to, be your profession, want not to be something in the public, which there's a lot of people like that. Like they don't like, that's the reason why when I publish, I help people get published. I always tell them you can be an author. So I can make you an author, co-author, or a ghostwriter. Why? Because I know some people want to protect their privacy. I know some people want to be on the down low, So that's why I always offer them, yeah, you can be a ghostwriter if you want. You don't need to put your name out there. So and in some cases it's a safety concern, because they want to protect whatever they're saying, so
Well,
or
okay, here on that tangent, there's some kids that are coming of age, becoming 17, 18, and they're getting mad at their parents for putting their faces on Facebook over the years. What do you think about that?
I mean, at the end of the day, the more pictures that you have right now, when you're gone, at least you'll have those pictures. And so I think as in a parenting perspective, I mean, there wouldn't be enough pictures for me to have of my son if I didn't have them. Why? Because I mean, he's been to Honduras 3 times. Oh, and by the way, he's getting a book published next month. He's publishing
Brag,
his
brag.
first
I
book.
love it.
I'm just like, I'm so excited, even though, so like in the time that we spent up like separated, a lot of people say, when they see a picture of someone that they care about, they draw, a little bit of inspiration to keep going. And so as a parent, I've done that before. And so I definitely, I mean, that's something that if you're a parent and you want to take a picture of your kid, I definitely think if once they get old enough and they don't want to be plastered everywhere, then I definitely think that they should refrain. But keep those pictures, they're going to grow up one day and they're going to be out of the house. And if they're not, then maybe they should be.
I have a lot of pictures that my mom took of me when I was a kid, but not a lot of them are online. She never had the need to do that. Not that there was such a thing when I was growing up. I'm of the generation that knew before online, before the internet, and then after the internet. We're going to die out, and the only people that are going to be alive are the people that grew up only knowing the internet and social media and being able to put something out there and possibly, always, when you put something out there, you want the likes, and then hopefully, here, I put this out there, do you like it? And you check back, was there a lot of likes? There wasn't a lot of likes. Maybe I'm not a good person. Maybe that's what you're growing up in that kind of
That
a
instant
mindset.
gratification, yeah.
Mhm.
Well, social media is a no whole other topic. I mean, like when it comes to posting things on social media, I think, and that's the reason why even on my YouTube, if you look on my YouTube channel, there's videos of me like getting dressed where I'm not even like all perfect or whatever. Why? Because they're in social media, there's just such a, to me, I like to be the positive side of realness. Like what you see on there is not real, like really. And so I like to definitely be authentic in who I am and who I am as a mom, because I know, there's so many filters out there. Don't live your life through a filter. I mean, don't do that.
I get
so
it.
and
I
so
get it.
I
Hey, no makeup. I woke up like this. I do like that hashtag, but there. If you look at my Facebook, it's mostly business. It's the parties that I throw. It's the podcast that whoever I'm promoting that week. The podcast that we did together. I put it out on the YouTube. I put it out on the internet. But when I post, I ghost. Post and ghost. Don't even look at the comments. And it's hard to do that sometimes because
turn my comments off.
did
FYI,
you
everyone out there on Instagram, I turned my comments off. Why? Because I got tired of all those comments. Hey, promote it on blah blah blah, and I'm like, no. Um, well, the reason that I do that though is because my content is for whoever wants to see it, and so if they want to see it and they can find me, then they can like it or not. I'm a big kind of I guess because I'm a journalist at heart, they taught us not to care what people think because people are going to hate you regardless. And so when it comes to likes and dislikes, you're always going to have haters. And even if they don't profess themselves as being haters, there's still going to be people that are not going to agree with what you have, and there's also envious people that they'll be like, I'm not going to like that. Why? Because I want that and I don't want to support them, and so don't be one of those haters and don't be one of those like unsupportive people. There's so many out there, and I'm like, I don't really, I like to be supportive of people. I really, really feel like, I think that's probably the reason why I started a podcast as well, is because all of the people that I interview are business owners or small business owners, because they need that shout out, they need that support. And so a lot of people nowadays, they don't do that little extra push a button to like it. And so they just scrolling. So hopefully, if any one of my students out there listening, don't go through life just scrolling. Definitely create something. And you said that you're not a creative person. You really are. You're a content creator. Like you
now?
now you are, but I'm just saying, like, so, and And creativity is a very, very interesting thing. Even though I always tell my son he's super, super creative because he literally draws like these amazing little figures, and so we're gonna we're gonna get him on t-shirts and sell it with his book and everything. And so I'm super excited for him. But when it comes to creativity, I think that is something that you can kind of become. I don't think you just are born creative. I think it's something that you need to develop. And the easiest way that I have helped him develop his creativity is literally not giving him internet, not giving him a phone, having him, be with himself, and having just him, if he has a computer, he can only be on, whatever if he's writing another book or something, which he is. And so there's just certain things that, as a mother, I've learned, and as a teacher, I've learned as well. And so a lot of kids are not creative because their parents don't allow them to be, because they inundate them full of media, full of YouTube, other people that are creative. And so how are you going to be creative if you're not given a chance? And so for anybody that's out there, give that chance to your child. Turn that phone off. Even if they yell, scream, cry, and throw a fit, it doesn't matter. They'll get over it. And if they don't, they'll go to their room, and then they'll probably start thinking, and maybe they'll pick up a book, which is always a good thing. so, so I just definitely want to thank you for your time. And any last words you want to tell to my students and my viewers?
See, I'm not even sure exactly what you teach. Are you teaching English to the kids, or are you teaching, is that your primary?
So
Oh, well,
yeah, I teach English and Spanish. And so I teach English and Spanish on Clubhouse. Clubhouse is a voice only app. And we just teach on there. So it's kind of like young adults and adults. As far as children, we haven't done that yet, just because we don't have a building yet. So right now we're just doing virtually. In the future, we do eventually want to have a facility where people can drop their kids off for it, kind of like an after school program. And they'll be able to learn and perfect their English and Spanish, and as well as if they want to learn how to dance, So I'm excited for the future. I'm excited for what Learning Idiom has to offer for not only Conway, but the world, because it's a global community. But right now we're teaching. So we do 2 hours a week that I teach on Clubhouse, and then I do 1 hour in English and 2 hours in Spanish. And it's on Clubhouse. We have our own club, and we just open it up, and whatever questions that they have from the podcast that they listen to the week before, they just ask whatever language barriers that they have. That's our mission, is to break language barriers as well as culture barriers by perfecting their English and Spanish.
see, I'm excited for you. You are the future. I'm becoming a dinosaur. I'm 52 years old. But once you get to a certain age, you've had some experiences. You've learned some things. So our jobs as we get older is to teach the next generation. And that's thankfully. I mean, I've had some offspring. I have two daughters myself. One made me a grandpa twice. I'm a grandpa. Oh no. Does that make me feel old? Before I was 50, I was always worried about my age and the people. Oh, especially as an entertainer, you feel like you have a shelf life. And going, you mentioned, being real and stuff and things like that. But as an entertainer, I've become a chameleon. I've been so many things over the years for so many people. And oh, you want a rock and roll person? No problem. I got that. You want disco? No problem. You want hip hop? No problem. I could be that. I've been so many things over the years. I've bent to other people, and I may, people go, "Hey, why don't you be real with me?" Well, I don't know how to be real sometimes because I don't know who I am, or maybe I'm an amalgamation of all the things that I've learned. So never stop learning, and never stop questioning. I know I've made jokes over this last conversation, don't question the things that I say. Don't look it up. Yes, look it up. Always look it up. Get the information. Get the information from Sachy Ice Queen, even though she is very knowledgeable. And then, find
Do
other
your own
sources.
research. Yeah.
Find other sources as well. I mean, your kid, I'm very impressed. I haven't written a book. let alone 2 books. So I'm very
I've written
impressed.
3.
And you've written 3. I've spoken a lot of words. I've recorded a lot of words, even before
Well, you're
podcasting.
already halfway there. I'm just saying, like, whenever I learn, or like whenever I'm like writing, and I always tell my students, because we also, so on Clubhouse, we learn, or we teach the verbal side of the language. On Facebook, we have a group where you can type, learn the writing part. So it's a writer's masterclass Facebook group. So we separate it like that. Because on Clubhouse you can't do that, and so that's really what we do. We just teach English and Spanish. We teach dancing and other things, but we mainly just teach the 2 languages.
Well,
uh,
my egotistical self, if someone ever decided to transcribe all the words that I've said in on these podcasts or on the radio, I know I have lots of reels out there of the things I've said, but I'm not so egotistical to think that somebody would care to transcribe that and make it into some kind of a novel or a
you
book.
never know, you never know. I mean, like, my mom, she just published her book. She was one of my co-authors, and I literally just went to her house and she just told her story, and I just was typing away. And it's there's nothing like writing your story. There's nothing like owning your story. When you own your story, and you own your voice, and you own who you are, it kind of just helps you be a better you. And that's the series of our books for this year is Be You. And so that's definitely something that I always tell anybody that I talk to. Just be yourself. Like, there's no one in the world like you. No one has your memories. No one has your experiences. Maybe they have the same name, it doesn't matter. They are not you.
That's another bit of advice that I wish that I had learned how to type. One of the most That's a skill that can come in so handy. I'm a 2-finger guy. I know where all the letters are. I know where all the numbers are, but it's mostly my index fingers and maybe a thumb here and there. So learn how to type. That'll help you, because you said your mom spoke and you transcribed. What a skill to have. And to be a secretary or an assistant, that's a good entry level job that will get you that much further.
For
So yeah,
sure, for
learn to
sure.
type.
Well, thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for being with us. My this segment again is Moving Mountains for You, and it's brought to you by Learning Idiom and Zeladon Help. My name is Icelat Zeladon, but of course I go by Sachy Ice Cream, so you can definitely reach me in all of the social medias, as well as Keys Dan. Check out his stuff, y'all. He has amazing content. He has he has amazing DJ skills. Literally tomorrow, I'm planning to go to your little what is it? The Rab.
Rab,
So
RAB,
yeah.
bar spelled
So
backwards.
if you're in the Arkansas area, definitely reach out to Dan. He's an awesome person, and he does so many events for a lot of different people and a lot of different types of locations. So he's your Cuban DJ. So definitely reach out to him. And like I always tell my listeners and my viewers, I am your Latina Jesus Jew, because I'm Jewish and I believe in Jesus. So,
Jews for Jesus. All right. I remember hearing that a long time ago. It's so fascinating to me. But okay, it sounds great. No, my grandfather wore a Jewish star his whole life, so he called himself a Jubin.
a Jubin. Oh, look at him go. But thank you so much for being with us. And if you haven't watched the other episodes, definitely check them out. And we will see you on the next one. Take care, y'all.
Bye bye.